Hi, Cathy Wiggins here, coming from my studio, from Gypsy Wood Leathers, and I want to talk about our Poinsettia Kit a little bit. The kit has all the supplies in it, including a USB that has all the directions in it to step you through how to make the poinsettia blooms. The hides vary slightly that come with the kit, but you should be able to get at least 3 of the blossoms here that are this size, as well as some greenery that goes around it. What I usually suggest people to do is to go ahead and make the pieces that you need for your flowers first, and then use what's left over or fit the greenery pieces around on the inside. Because my pieces, I put a whole bunch of greenery on them. You really don't need to put that much on them, depending on what you're going to do with them. So this makes a really nice bloom on a nice stem that you want to put in an arrangement like this. But what I decided I wanted to do is I wanted to use these in different ways. For instance, just taking one and putting it onto a wreath like this. I think it really makes a really unique gift for someone, and it will last forever. Now this size flower, if you notice, the bloom is a little bit smaller than this one is. And so in order to make the larger blooms, and again, this is on the USB, there's actually 5 different components that make up the flower. And so this one takes all 5 components. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is what it takes. And for the smaller bloom, what I did was, I just took the number 1 and number 2, and I did 2 of number 3s in order to make the smaller bloom. And then I added a 3 and a 4 underneath that to make the greenery that's underneath it, like this one right here. Okay, all right, so see, that's how I did that. So this one is made out of components 1, 2, 3, and 4 with 2 number 4s, and then the greenery is 4 and 5. And for the smaller one, what I did was I used components 1, 2, and 3 with 2 number 3s, and then the number 3 and number 4 as the greenery underneath. So that's the difference that I did. And then what I did is I added a smaller version of the little leaf component. So these are the sizes that come with the kit. The templates are. I just cut a little smaller one, so it kind of matches the size of the little smaller bloom a little bit better. And I also added some little shapes that are kind of like holly leaves, just to add a little bit of variation around the flower itself, so the foliage has a little bit more variety to it than just all of the one-shaped leaves. So you can, and the other thing that I did too was, instead of putting it on a long stem like this, I actually cut the little stem into a little small short stem like this, just long enough to be able to put the flower on, and then I fed that through the wreath, and then twisted it on the back, and that's how I got my flower to stay in place. As far as attaching the leaves themselves, what I did was I just hot glued them. I just decided where I want to put them. I used my hot glue gun and put them right into place. So that's how I did this little guy right here. You notice also in this one, he also has, using the smaller ones too, what I did was I took a wire mesh, kind of like chicken wire, and cut it in the shape of the horse's head, and then I filled it up, the horse body. I took another little shape. I just cut a little shape like this put my hand behind it, maybe you can see a little bit better, to give a shape kind of like an evergreen shape. I did a whole bunch of them. It takes a whole bunch of these to do that. And then fed it through the wire mesh, and again hot glued it onto the wire mesh and built that. And then I added all my poinsettia foliage and the poinsettias themselves around the edge for the mane. And then on this one, if you notice, this is a little bit larger grapevine wreath, and what I did there was I just put a large one in the middle and 2 smaller ones on either side. So there's all kinds of things you can do. One of the things I'm going to be working on today is I'm going to make a centerpiece that has the poinsettia foliage and the blooms around it. I'm just going to stick them right into this foam, and so I can put a candle in the center of it. You can use them as little gift tags, but instead of bows, make them into little tags for gifts. And you can, there's really all kinds of things you can do with the poinsettias. One other thing that I figured out too, when I was making a whole bunch of these all at one time, was that I found that it was easier if I got like a little container like this and dumped my dyes in here. And that way I could take my flower components and just dip them in there instead of having to brush them all individually with a foam brush. Now this does take a lot more dye because it does absorb into the piece. So if you're going to do it this way, I highly suggest you get some more dyes to make sure you have enough on hand. But it does make it a little bit easier to be able to do it this way if you're doing a whole bunch of them all at one time. time. But I think this is a cool project. It's something that you could do with your kids or your family members over the holidays that are coming. And what a great keepsake that it will be for them to be able to take home with them. So we hope you enjoy the little tips and tricks. And I would love to see, as you guys make your poinsettias, if you use them in different and unusual ways, please post pictures and share them using the hashtag of Gypsy Wood Leather so we can all see what you do. Okay, talk to you later.